Hi, I'm Alex.
My name is Sergey. We talk about table tennis.
We are Table Tennis 11.
Today we are trying to make a very complicated experiment. The experiment is complicated not because of the complicated process, but we would like to find out how important is the racket and how important is the competition racket for top player. If the top player takes normal racket or very basic racket or even hobby racket, how it looks like, how much lower his performance would be.
We can also check, as I imagine it, for example, if you took the matches between Appelgren and Waldner 40 years ago, many players say today it was so slow. And if you give the same racket to today's modern player, would be the game so slow again? So this is also the question, if the performance of the player is much better and he plays with basic racket on the same level. Of course, it's not possible to play on the same level, but on the good level compared to his standard racket.
So after all, we are trying to find out whether the development of the equipment, has it really changed the game a lot? Or we just expect that the new equipment change the game a lot?
But of course, for many viewers, it might be also the question if they should invest more money in the modern equipment or they still continue use the classical equipment or hobby racket.
Anyway, I'm so excited to watch how top player is playing against another top player with a very basic racket. This is very interesting for me. So would we see the same table tennis or would it be completely different?
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Okay, I am off the game now because of my poor skills, but you check how strong is Daniel or his racket.
I will do it. Or he will check how good I am.
Okay, but to tell more about the process, what do you think? How good you are against Daniel? He's 2 times younger than you.
Yeah, but it's not only about the age. He also performed during his career on another, I would say, national European level. So this is also class difference altogether. Even if I would be his age, he's still a stronger player altogether.
But how big is the difference now?
Yeah, so I think I would hardly be able to win a set. So I would say so. So if you play 10 sets, I probably can't win even one.
But the goal is to win at least one.
Yes.
Okay, we will check how it goes with normal rackets and with downgraded rackets. What kind of rackets we are using, we will talk during the game.
Okay, now we are watching the game. First match would be with your normal rackets. Daniel, what do you think between us, only between us?
Yes.
Talking very frankly, how confident you are against Sergey? Sergey, I can tell you, before Sergey said that he would be happy if he wins 1 set out of 12. What is your?
Actually, I like to play against who are pimpers in a both side or just in one side. So actually, I think that's why if I play the players who have pimpers, I'm quite confident.
The question was about the class of the players. So it's quite obvious that you are playing better than Sergey, but I mean, what do you think? One out of 12 set is realistic, or Sergey said that he needs roughly 4 points of handicap?
No, I think it's possible, of course, because until 11, if for example, if I have a bad start, 1-2 net ball, then yeah, it can happen, of course.
So the difference is big, but not that big that you cannot lose.
Yes.
So how is it going with? Have you ever played matches with the umpire against Daniel before?
No, I think we played maybe one set before with in the practice in the end. So we didn't play sets before, for sure.
So what
I usually was so tight in the end of the practice, so it would be too much to play a match against Daniel.
So what were your feeling during the match?
Yeah, it was a very good start. So, and I was optimistic in the beginning. It's very often with good players, you start good and then you have a feeling. So maybe you can compete on the same level. So it was quite good beginning. So it just was. I don't know if it was just coincidence or. The first set was good start for me. So and it was I think around 7-7 even. So it was
But in the end, it was more difficult, or you simply was nervous too much.
No, it's usually when you play against strong players, you don't understand where you lose. So you lose a bit in 1 point, and then you almost won a second, but in the end you lose these 3 points. So you struggle. It is 7-8, but then you stay at 8 or 7. So for me, it's a very typical situation when you play against a player of higher class. So you are very near, but maybe I put all my efforts and then it is enough for some moments, but in the end it is still not enough to win a set.
But in the second set, was it the same? It was almost even game in the beginning, and then. What was the feeling? It was the same as in the first set, or it was different?
It was more difficult. So I think still Daniel already felt my game completely, and that it was for me. It was if I had a chance to win a second set. So in the second one, I didn't have the feeling that I have a possibility to win it. So it was this feeling.
Was it in reality quite easy, or any difficulties with Sergei playing with your normal racket?
I felt step by step I started to play better and better. I mean, the first few points I was a little bit struggling. How is the spin come back from the pimpers? But as we start to play more and more, I start to feel much better, myself, and then I became more confident. I felt.
So it was also a good warm up for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And what about the next session with this classical racket?
It was different experience. It was more slow, of course, than my racket, and I really preferred the faster racket.
But as we see in the warm up, at least it was like normal game. So you only feel that it's slower.
Yes, yeah. Then I started to feel in the point. Of course, in the warm up, you know where the ball is come back. So then maybe I can use more wrist or more power. But when you don't know where the ball come back, then it's more difficult.
But what I see, you are playing your normal game as always. I mean, you haven't adjusted your game to the slower racket, so you are trying to get points as if you are playing with your own racket.
Yes, for sure. Also, I felt if I practice with this racket more and more, then I start to use to it, and yeah.
So then you might also change your game a little bit.
Yes, for sure.
for sure. But generally, you can play with this racket.
I can play with this racket exactly if I practice with it.
If you practice more, then maybe I don't know, 2 months, 3 months later, you would reach almost the same performance, or you think you would be 90% or 80%. What is your feeling?
I can say like 80% because of the how is the racket, how fast is the racket. I think it's very important in the game, and also my racket is very fast, so I can play really quality ball. I mean, the first ball is very quality, so yeah.
But at the same time, when you have slower rackets, you have more feeling. So maybe you can avoid easy mistakes on service receive, and which also could be compensation of the speed. What do you think?
Yes, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, my style is more active player, so I don't play so close to the table. That's why I feel it's not a big advantage for me, like a slower racket.
Okay, and Sergey, what do you think? So also, it feels for sure that you are playing with the same player, but balls are coming slower. Is it enough already to compete?
Yeah, it came out that it was enough to compete in it, at least. But I think it was too short time for Daniel to adjust to this racket. And my feeling was when I was playing, so let me finish first and second set until he managed to get adopted to it. So I had the feeling that I'm lucky he didn't adjust now, and then I just was using the possibility that the racket was so new, of course, so different for him. So otherwise, I didn't have this feeling of that absolute advantage that I can win 40 sets like this or 12 sets in the same manner. So
I see. And what about Daniel? What about the speed what about the spin of the racket? Is it similar or it's different?
It's different. It's different. Little bit less spin, I felt.
A little bit less.
Little bit less spin than my professional racket.
And Sergey, on the other side of the table, do you feel that balls are coming less spinny?
yeah, it is somehow combination of speed and spin in this case. So this was, yeah. So somehow in this modern equipment, this spinny racket, it also speed up the ball. So it was this wasn't that enough spin to speed up the ball. So this is my explanation. Yeah.
So in other words, it is not that straightforward. That the racket is slower and less spinny and.
No, but for me, it is obviously from the distance Daniel is playing. If he's playing from the same distance, it comes slower and it comes with less spin. So, and then I think we also did not use the fresh glue. So I think if you would put the fresh glue on this racket, it would be another story.
Or booster.
Or booster today, yeah. So then it was very big difference when players started using the glue and the booster today, because it's absolutely different racket.
Yeah, so it's not 1 or 2 or 3 steps back. It's like 10 steps back. So we are coming to the era when speed glue was not even invented. The rally itself, the rally becoming longer and longer as soon as you get used to the racket.
Exactly, yeah. So it was, yeah. So this is why maybe the table tennis was more spectacular it's 30 years or 40 years ago.
And now International Table Tennis Federation, they start to make a game more attractive to the spectators. Maybe this is the best thing is to limit the speed of the racket.
Yeah, so this is one of the solution, of course, because now, so it is even if you watch the latest matches on the top arena, so it's if a person puts a strong top spin or flip or banana, then usually the point is over. So this is very often like this.
Mistake of the opponent.
Yeah, so this is the today's table tennis.
Okay, but now we are meanwhile in the third part of our testing procedure. So, Daniel, now you are playing with maybe good but still hobby racket, ready-made racket which you can buy not in the supermarket, but you can buy it in the sports goods store or sports department. So now tell please the difference between racket number 2 and racket number 3. Was it completely different?
I felt the difference was the third racket was more slow than the second one. So with the second one, I can still I can start with a good spin or finish the point in the second spin or the third one. But with the third racket, as you can see, it's not easy, and Sergey is blocking me everywhere on the table. So I felt I need to work more hard to win the point.
But I mean, with blind eyes, you feel much difference between number 2 and number 3 racket.
Yes.
And for you, Sergey, the third match, was it completely different or comparing to the second one? Or it is something similar?
But I think in principle it is similar. But to be honest, this is, as you said, this is not the racket from supermarket. It is still playable racket. So it was easier to play for me. And I had the confidence. I thought if I had a good match against racket number 2, so this one should be even easier. So, and this was also...
But it was not the case.
Yeah, it was. I don't, but it wasn't. It wasn't much easier. So I think only with this racket the sound was different. So because I think the wood is not that big problem. This is only the speed. But the rubbers, they were less spinny, and they were the ball was not dangerous.
But I also see that in the third match you have some. You make already some adjustment to your strategy.
Yes, I try to be closer to the table because I felt the racket was not fast enough to go one or two steps behind of the table. So I just try to be closer and closer.
Yeah, this is what I mean. So if with experienced player, he would be adjusted to the racket, and then this was also a very nice point. Yeah.
But I see also that Sergey is winning in 2 different ways. One is you cannot kill the ball. He's quite confident while receiving, and he can make counter attack. This is the first one. But the second one, you are trying to make active point, but because it's not your racket, the angles are different and movements should be different. So you make quite easy and unforced errors.
Yes, exactly. I think that's why it is important for the players for practicing a lot.
Yeah, so
with the own racket.
So even if with this pure hobby racket, you can be better if you play, let's say, 2 or 3 months.
100%, yes.
Can you imagine that you can beat a good player, maybe not a top player, but a good player with the hobby racket? Or it's totally impossible? You said with this second racket, it was down
let's say 80%, but with this one, how down you could be if you get used to it?
If I get used to it, I think like around like 50%.
50%. This is not enough, of course, to beat a good player. Young player, maybe. Yes.
Young player maybe yes, but a good player, I don't think so. If of course, if a good player playing with a boosted racket and a faster racket.
But was it interesting experience for you?
Yeah, I realized how is important my own racket.
How important to practice with your own racket.
And Sergey, from your side, was it interesting or not?
It was interesting. So for me, the difference was bigger than I expected, and I explained not only by that Daniel did not play with this racket. I mean, at least with the second racket, long enough. Otherwise, I think staying closer to the table, he would be able to make a lot of problems for me. So this is my estimation.
So you don't believe that he would be 50% down playing with this hobby racket?
But you see, Daniel playing this Swedish league on the top level. So with me, it is not. Maybe it would be enough. But for top players like he's playing against in other countries, then it's up to him to judge, because this is another level.
So what we can say in the end to our audience? Racket is important, or racket is maybe not so important in the beginning, but later it would be more. And also the question is, how fast racket should you use if you are not top professional player? If you should go with a slower racket, or you have to start from the very beginning with a very spinny and speedy racket? What is your opinion?
My opinion is the racket is very important, and you should choose the racket of your style. What is your style? If you play behind the table 2-3 steps, then you need more faster racket. If you play close to the table, you need not that fast racket. So I think it's very important to good choose of the racket.
Actually, there are two different approaches. One approach that beginner should play with slower racket, or beginner should play with the professional racket from the very beginning. What is your opinion?
Of course, depends of the players. What is the goal for them? If they want to be a professional player, then I think it's important to start with the professional racket.
So when he's 6 or 7 years old, he has to start already with the very fast racket.
Yes, at least a professional racket, and don't need to be, for example, like a super carbon racket. Just like a medium level I think is enough.
Like number 2.
Yes.
Good. Thank you very much for everybody, and thank you for watching and listening us. Hope to see you next time, and waiting for your feedback, for your questions and comments.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.